Hey guys, hopefully you're doing well and you're enjoying your day. I wanted to make this quick video to actually stress to you the importance of Facebook ads and how to actually tweak them so you get better results and that you actually save more money. So if you don't know me, my name's Dante, and the reason I make these videos is to actually help real estate agents get financially free by leveraging technology and social media. So without further ado, I actually want to show you all the different reasons why your Facebook ads might not be running the way that you expected and highly anticipated. So let's actually get straight into it. The first reason that you're not actually converting or getting the amount of results that you want for your actual real estate ads is you need to have a clear defined target. Now you want to be tracking, and I'm sure you track your ads, I'm sure you do that, but tracking is nothing if you don't have any targets that you want to specifically hit. Okay, so I've got some targets here that you should be aiming for, and I want to break them down one at a time. So I've got some averages. You may know some of these metrics, you may not. So if I sound like I'm talking too technical, trust me, it's really simple and you're going to understand them. So the first one is called CPC. It's called cost per click. So what is the cost that it actually requires Facebook to show your ad to someone? So for instance, a cost per click may range from as high as $8 and as low as 50 cents. So it really depends what your cost per click is. The higher, that means that the not as great performing ad that it is, or the less means that it's highly converting. So it's really easy to show people clicking, and people reacting really great to ads. So I have some targets here. The cost per click should be around $1, maybe less. It depends for yourself. I don't know what you're getting at the moment. It could be less, it could be more than that. You want to get into the cents. So it's like, you get 90 cents per click. That's great. You might get more, you might get $2. That's not as great because obviously it's more expensive. But you want to be aiming for around 20 cents or $2 to 20 cents, right? So the lower the better. You may not reach that yet, but I'm sure that your ads will eventually get to that. But that's something you need to keep your eye on, because if it's too high, that's already a great indicator that something is not working well with your ad. Okay. The next metric I want to discuss is actually going to be CPL. So that's the cost per lead. That's probably the most important thing that you're focusing on, because that's really that return on investment that you want, right? So you have to have an ideal cost per lead, right? So what is it costing you to have a phone call with a potential buyer, potential seller, something like that? Is it $49? Is it $30? Do you know how much your current cost per leads is? Okay, maybe your last one was $59. So maybe you want to aim for that. But I would ideally recommend around that $49 mark. Okay, there's nothing specific to say that you can't get any lower, and you can definitely get higher. But ideally, $49 is pretty good. Okay. Next is very, very important, I think myself, because this is going to be your click-through rate. So out of all the people that see your video, how many people converting and actually taking action onto these videos, right? So ideally, when I run ads, I would want minimum 2% click-through rate. So out of 1,000 or so people, is there 20 people clicking on your ad? Is that what's happening? That's ideally what you want, because only a small percentage of people are actually going to be clicking and converting. And out of those small percentage, how many people are actually going to take action, right? So ideally, I might even change this from 4 to 2%, because you can aim way higher than that. That's honestly very low, and you want to aim for that. The next one is actually CPM. So it stands for cost per milli, or cost per 1,000 views on your ad. And for the real estate industry, I found that $14 is your target that you want to be hitting. So that's very important. So $14, it's not really too complicated. Just aim for that, and that's what you want. Okay. So next is, I see this happen all the time, and I'm actually a victim of this, because I did this myself when I used to run ads. Okay, for my own self and for other reasons. And the thing is, you need to make a logical decision, not an emotional decision. So this actually goes back to the tracking. You need enough data to make a qualified decision, right? So if you're leaving an ad for a day or two and you're cutting it, you practically wasted your time and money, because that could have been the best performing ad. You just never knew, because there wasn't enough data, right? So right, there is an actual warm-up phase, and that's around 5 days, so 3 to 5 days, minimum 48 hours, all right, to actually see if that ad those different ad sets. So don't cut the ads too early because you might have a win on your hands and you just don't know that yet. So just keep in mind, it's very important. Next is having too many call to actions. Now, I'm a really big advocate for this, and I have talked about this briefly in some of my other videos. So if you want to check that, I have the marketing strategy for all the real estate agents up there. So you can definitely check that out, but stick here first and then go to that video next. So having too many call to actions is not great. Now, I understand you want to show off your social media, you want people to follow you here on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. I get that, right? But for the money you're spending and you're actually getting a return on what you're spending, you want people to go to one place. Do not direct them anywhere else, okay? You know, if they're going one call to action, there's only one place they can go. There's only one place they can go, alright? So you may have some call to actions that says, call me, buy now, learn more. These are all great individually. If they're all together, it's not so great because then it's harder to track, don't know where people come from, and it's just a nightmare, to be quite honest. So you want to have a clear call to action, learn more, call me now. Done. Simple. Don't have to be call my number. Have the call to action on the Facebook ad. Let them click on that website or where you're funneling that traction to, and do that. Don't put your social media. Don't make it busy. Keep it nice and simple. Next is very, very important. It's test, test, test. You are, as a business owner, as a real estate agent, you are like a mad scientist, right? You're constantly trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. Trial, error, trial, error. That's just the game of it, alright? If you don't know that yet, then I hate to break it to you, but that's the game of ads, right? So I'm sure you've learned this lesson, and it's pretty much, you know, you want to be testing different images, different headlines, different descriptions, right? All the time. Again, you don't want to change this all at once. So if you want to make a change in your ad, don't make a change in your ad, a change in your headline, change in your description, because then you don't know what converted well. So when you're doing this, you want to make sure that it's one at a time. That way you can actually make a qualified decision and say, okay, look, we did this headline compared to headline 2, headline 2, 1, alright, next. Headline 2 versus headline 3, headline 3, 1, or the next row would be headline 2 versus headline 4, headline 4, okay? So that's how you want to do it. Next is choosing to do a video ad or an image ad. Now, if you already got a video ad or an image ad at the moment, that's completely fine. So I'm going to tell you what you can do for each of those. So for a video ad, the most important thing you want to look for is the 5-second intro. So actually calling out the audience. Hey, are you a first-time buyer looking for an affordable house in Melbourne? Then you should check out this property, right? Clear, straight call to action. It grabs their attention because I'm a first-time buyer. I'm a young couple, and I want to buy an affordable house in Melbourne. Yeah, sure. That first 5 seconds has to be like that. It has to capture them. It has to grab their attention, and you need to put a nice, clear calling out to your audience. Next is, if you have an image ad, where do you want people to actually be looking, right? Do you want them to be looking, in the center? Do you want to be looking at the bottom, the call to action? Where do you want them to be looking? Because they're just going to go around and then they just scroll down to the next section, right? Then you're not going to grab their attention. So having an image ad, you want to make it simple. You want things to stand out. You want to make it very direct, okay? Next is something very, very simple, but I don't think I can stress this enough, and it's actually using higher quality images of you or of your property. Now, I know this is it's very, very simple, but you could just imagine the amount of impact that this could have. So perfectionism, I don't want to get into that because that's one thing in itself, but you just want to have good enough quality that shows off your company. I mean, this is you displaying yourself to other brands, okay? So make it very simple. Just have high quality images, make it nice and appealing for the eyes. Even yourself as an image or the ad, that's what you want, okay? Next is my last point, which is the 7th reason why your Facebook ad probably isn't working, and it's what are you actually doing with these leads? Now, you could have a buyer or a seller that's really interested. They click on your ad, but then you wait a day and 24 hours, 48 hours until you call them back, and their interest will go like that because they've already looked to the competitor and they've already seen what they have to offer, and they've already talked with people within 2 days. You need to be very quick with these people online because their attention is gonna walk away. Alright? So calling them is one thing. Are you calling these leads up? What are you doing with them? Alright? I'm sure you am, because if you're watching this video, you're probably not getting many leads at the moment, so you're probably doing that. So that's great. Are you following up? Do you have a structure? So do you have a structure of questions. Okay, maybe you have a VA to do it, right? You have someone else to do it because you're busy, right? You're going to be closing those deals, okay? And lastly is, what do you even define a successful campaign or a successful ad? What does that even mean to you? Does that mean that that person that you caught became an actual buyer for that property? Or is that someone that's interested in you and wants to work with you down the line? Is that still considered successful? So it's like a non-binary thing. Like, you could have, not converted anyone. You've got a lot of leads, but not converted anyone. But obviously down the line, they might turn to a potential prospect and actually get deep into that pipeline. So what does a successful ad look like to you? Okay. Hopefully that helped. I try to provide as much value as I can and just give you more guidance on what you should be doing. But like that said, if you do, I have a link in the description and I can help you exactly with this. You can get a really quick 5 to 10 minute call with me and I can go through your Facebook ads, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about yourself. So if you did like this video, I appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe and you can check that link. I don't care if you do, it really doesn't faze me. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.